Hi, and thanks for joining me for this sourcing webinar. We're going to look at one specific job requirement and analyze it. We will analyze the technical vocabulary, we will analyze the role itself, and then dive deeper to how to actually find the specific IT professional. So let's dive right in. Meanwhile, guys, you can let me know, how are you today? How is it going on your end? With what's going on in Ukraine and elsewhere. Hope you guys are safe and everything is all right. Let me know in chat. By the way, do you know anyone from Ukraine who was affected by war and would like to transition to tech recruitment? Because I organized this tech recruitment program, and the next one starts in 2 weeks or so. And we will issue scholarships for people who cannot afford it or want to transition their career and they look for some opportunity so they can join the program with no costs. So yeah, Damini, if you know anyone who would like to transition, they don't have to pay for this. Just let me know. We don't have any form on the website yet. We were just discussing it with a colleague from the team, also with Philippos. So just in that case, you know what? I'll just send you my email address if you know the person. And also Aneta, cool. So then just let them know. You can introduce us via email and then we will take it from there. Cool. So also during the program, we will cover the whole IT terminology, the IT stuff. We will talk about sourcing, screening candidates. So, and not just people who, lost jobs in Ukraine, but usually there are people from the United States, from Canada, from several European countries, even from Singapore. So it's very international usually. And we will talk about sourcing, screening, and everything that a recruiter actually needs to know. So anyway, today we will focus on QA, quality assurance, test automation engineering. This is one of the latest additions on our job board. So I thought it could be a good opportunity to talk about this one. And those of you guys who work with us as recruitment associates or vendors, you have access to our portal. You can submit candidates right away and of course get commission once the candidate is placed. So if you guys would like to explore this further, just go to recruitinstantly.com/vendors is the URL, and you can just fill in the application form and become our partner. So thinking about this test automation engineer, how to actually find the ideal candidate, how to get them excited is exactly what we are going to cover today. This is a remote position, as you can see at the first sentence, a remote position. It is for the client. Some of you might have seen this client already. It's the client based in Dubai. They are looking for DevOps engineers, Python engineers, but the QA could be remote. So unlike those other positions, this is remote. So QA stands for quality assurance. Test automation engineer means that the person would develop tests. The person would develop tests that test the functionality that someone else develops. So, if I take a step back in software development, those IT professionals have several roles, including software developers. We can, by the way, open up the mind map. We can go to page number 11 or so, and you would see different IT roles. One of them is or actually more of them are front-end developers, back-end developers. So these are people who create those features. They create the functionality, but someone needs to test the functionality, right? So the person who tests the functionality is the tester. And the tester could be either a manual tester or a test automation engineer. As you can see on the left-hand side, the testing and QA rows, the tester could be manual. So someone who just opens up an application and tests manually, or a website and fills in those input boxes manually. The QA engineer is someone who may use some automated scripts, so some functionality that is written in Python, for example, or Java or JavaScript, or some of these programming languages. Damien is asking what tools are used by manual testers. Well, mostly fingers. You know, they open up an application and they need to tap the application, fill in the forms. Also on the website, they just open up the website and they go through a predefined scenario. So manual testers are really manual. So those people just use like very little tools. That's why they are manual testers. And then those who automate the manual tests are automated testers. So test automation engineers, because they are called engineers because they need to develop the automated test. Imagine you would like to test some page. For example, I'll just go to our website and there is some registration page. So this also needs to be tested. And there are two ways how this form can be tested. Either manually, for example, manually, if there is a required form, a required input box, the form should not be able to be submitted. So you can either test it by visiting this form and then you try to submit it and it should not work. So now you tested the functionality manually. Now you can go through the second step, which would be to test if you can enter an email address that is not really an email address. For example, something like michael@globaltalentshub.com. But this is not really an email address. It sounds like one, but it's not. So can I now submit? I just go down, I click register, and it shows that it's not a valid email address. Okay, fair enough. So now I try with a real email address, for example, something like this. Okay, now it works. Can I submit it now? Yes, I can. Okay, so I tested that this input box works as it is supposed to work. But as you can see, it took me 30 seconds only to test one field. And now I need to test the second field. I need to test the third field. For example, I need to test the password functionality. What if I enter 6 zeros or 10 zeros? Is it enough? You see, password should contain at least one special character. Okay, so this is one functionality that I tested. Now I will try, for example, no uppercase. Okay, still doesn't work. That's good. Now I try to add there one special character. Okay, but there is not any uppercase letter. So I need to try it once again. Okay, so the manual tester would have a list of these predefined tests and would just go one by one, which would take forever. Just to test this particular form would take probably 1 hour or even more to test this form properly with all the different options, the file upload. You should test also that, say, a normal file, a PDF is possible to upload. Then the second test would be a file that has 50 megabytes. Then it should not work. Then some file that is corrupted, it should not work. Okay, so different variations, and suddenly you have a long list of all these different testing scenarios, which would take forever to test. And that's why there has been this shift to automated testing, but the tests need to be written in JavaScript or in Python. So someone would need to write tests to fill in this automatically and try to submit it automatically. So the system would try to hit this button automatically without the manual submission of the form. That's why it is called automated testing. And that way, this could be run within 1 minute, everything, or even less, maybe 30 seconds. The whole test suite can be run really quick. So that's the shift from manual testing to test automation engineering. And that's why these people need to use some programming language. They need to use either Python or JavaScript. They need to use Java. So some software, some programming language that would be able to run those tests automatically. So the responsibilities of a test automation engineer would be to write automated tests, test the backend microservices automatically, test the front-end website automatically, test the cross-platform mobile application automatically, and then help the team shift from manual to automated testing. So this is what I actually wrote based on the discussion with the hiring manager. He told me that they have a backend, a front-end, a mobile application, and the test automation engineer would need to test all three. This is what it is. They would use Jira. This is very common. Lots of development teams use Jira for ticket management, to keep track of bugs, defects, production issues. They would need to use Python, the programming language, to automate these tests, but it doesn't need to be just Python. It could be also JavaScript or some other language. They are not really clear about this. It doesn't really matter for the manager. The framework also doesn't really matter. It could be Cypress, it could be Robo framework, it could be whatever other. There are so many frameworks. In each programming language, there are some frameworks to make testing easier. So they don't really mind which one it is. And the competencies would be at least 3 years of experience with software testing. So they don't look for someone very junior, someone who is just starting with test automation. They need someone who is willing and able to just step in and do whatever is required to start automating. Someone who has already worked in agile software development, and someone who knows its life cycle. So, there are people who just test as a one-man show, or people who have never been really part of any agile team, and those people would not be really good candidates for this particular team. And also people who don't have fluent English would not be really good. So what do you probably wonder is the programming language really not important? So it is not. It is not. It could be a test automation engineer with Python or with Java, with JavaScript. That doesn't really matter. What matters is the experience with some testing in the past, plus the experience with agile software development and its life cycle. So the self-assessment screening questions would be: do you have at least 3 years experience with software testing? Yes or no? Have you worked in an agile environment? Yes or no? Have you worked with software developers who use Jira to keep track of defects? The Jira is not required, but with this question, we are trying to gauge if the developer was really working with some development team. And we want to just avoid those candidates who have very limited experience with software development, agile projects. Do you have experience with authentication or security testing? So this is slightly more advanced way to test. The assumption is that those who have very little experience with testing, they would probably just test some simple website or maybe one form here and there, but nothing really too difficult. So those would be people who have 1 or 2 years of experience. But people who are a bit more senior, I'm not saying completely senior with 5 years of experience, but people who are on the mid-level would already have some experience with authentication or maybe some security. So that's why we are asking this question. And the last one, is your English fluent enough to interact with international colleagues every day? So the colleagues are in Germany, in Dubai, in Spain, and elsewhere. The person could be in wherever, in Europe or in India. So the English should be good, fluent. Active sourcing locations, we try to enumerate a few to start with. So I would start with Serbia, because the head of engineering is from Serbia. So the person who would work with this person directly, and he is now in Serbia before he relocates to Dubai. So could be a good idea to start sourcing in Serbia, exactly. Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Russia. Dubai, probably not, because of the salary budget. The budget is 2,000 euros. Where is it? Here, $2,000. So, you would probably not start looking for people in Germany or in London. So needs to be some low-cost country. At least 3-4 years experience. So, okay, I wanted to show you a mind map related to software testing and QA. It should be on the page number 38. 38. Damini, meanwhile, is asking if people from India can apply. Yes, they can apply, of course. In this case, they support diversity. So, yeah, they are also willing to interview candidates from India. Testing and QA. Yeah, this is the one mind map dedicated to quality assurance. Look, I'll show you what is the difference between testing and QA. And you will also spot the difference on the job requirement. So testing usually improves the product through the process of discovering bugs sooner than customers can discover them. So imagine now Zoom would crash. That would be very uncomfortable, right? The customer experience would not be very good. So testers have already tested Zoom properly, and that's why it is not crashing for us. So they improved the product through discovering bugs sooner than we could experience them. And quality assurance, on the other hand, means improving the product through enhancing the overall development process. And the process includes also testing, so automated continuous testing. It means also helping the development team to test automatically themselves. So that's why the last bullet point on this list is to help the team shift from manual to automated testing. So the quality assurance engineer helps the team to level up the game they play, to go from manual to automated testing. As you can see here, manual executed by a human tester. Automated means that there are some tools in place that execute those test cases. And as you've seen, the test cases are: try the email, try the password short, try the password way too long, try the password with all lowercase, try the password with one uppercase. So there are different scenarios and there are some expected outcomes. So the testers write tests to verify if the desired outcomes happen. Testing types, not that important for now. Testing tools. So there are some cross-platform testing tools such as Selenium. There are some tools specific to a programming language. For example, in Java, there is JUnit, so Java unit. In JavaScript is Jest or Mocha or Cypress. In C# language, there is NUnit or XUnit. In PHP is a PHP unit. In this case, as I mentioned, we are not looking for a quality assurance engineer with a specific framework or a specific programming language, so that doesn't matter that much. And we would be looking for a test automation engineer. As you can see, one of these roles, test automation engineer, someone who can write the code to test automatically. So if there is a question, from what QA using Cucumber in test automation, for what QA using Cucumber in test automation, and is it a framework too? Yes, it is also a framework. It is, I mean, there are so many different frameworks. So that's why usually we don't get too much focused on these little frameworks. When frameworks are important, it's usually those that are used on the front end. For example, React or Angular, or for example, for development using PHP, it would be Laravel. But then there are lots of other additional frameworks. Let's even call them libraries. So some smaller pieces of software that make it easier to perform some activity. So for example, to write a test. So the library, Cucumber or Jest, Mocha, it enables developers to wrap some functionality so they don't have to write it all the time from scratch. And Cucumber, Jest, Mocha, it's one of these tools really. There are different tools. And in this case, as you've seen, the hiring manager doesn't even care about the programming language, not that much about the tool, because it's really a tool, really. As you guys don't also care if we are on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you just log in and you don't really care too much about the tool. With this quality assurance engineering, it's very similar. I mean, they have some software, someone needs to come and start testing it, and whatever works for the person is just a tool, really. And I mean, we can use some of these tools as sourcing keywords, but it's very likely that also software developers would have them on their profiles. So that's why I don't really have them listed in sourcing keywords. As you can see here, I have included a few titles like QA engineer or test automation engineer, but we can discover some more of them now with skills, tools, competencies, keywords, testing, obviously, or unit test, QA, quality assurance, software testing. I included a few. I wouldn't use these other tools like, I mean, frameworks, libraries, like Jest, Mocha, because lots of developers have these tools on their profiles as well. So if we use this keyword or Jest or Mocha or JUnit or Selenium, we will have way too many people who are not really test automation engineers. So that's why I would rather look for some other keywords, whether it is unit testing, software testing, or the one I just mentioned a while ago, test suite. Yeah, test suite I would actually add on the list. So so that would be also a good one, test suite, because test engineers, they need to create some suite, some list of tests, so we can enhance this list with some more titles. So let's do it. Let's do it now. For example, test suite. Is it suite or suite with E at the end? Gosh, I don't know, but we will try, right? So let me open up some testing project, and we can take it from there. Shall we try Serbia? It was the first one on the list. I have some testing project here, so let me clear it really quick. And let's go with Serbia. Serbia, and let's try with a job title, very straightforward. Let's just try QA engineer, quality assurance engineer. Let's try. And there are so many different keywords. I like to go through this discovery process at first, just to discover what are some typical titles that these people have. Quality assurance engineer, of course, a QA engineer. What else? QA engineer we already have. QA specialist, that could also be a good addition to the list. Senior QA engineer. QA, senior QA automation engineer. BI QA engineer, software quality analyst, probably could be as well. BI quality assurance engineer, QA. Okay, let's try now a slight variation. Let's try only QA. Let's see what we will get. A system test engineer, that also sounds good. System test engineer, freelance QA tester. I can drop the freelance and we can only keep QA tester. What else? QA, or just QA. Well, that's quite straightforward, isn't it? A software QA engineer, owner, BI QA engineer, junior QA, QA engineer. At some point, we will start noticing the same keywords all the time. So I'll just go through one more. Quality, senior quality tester, quality engineer. And the last one that I will try is testing engineer, testing specialist, software testing specialist, acceptance testing engineer, or probably just testing engineer. QA analyst / tester. Quality assurance engineer. That's pretty much it. We covered the most important ones. It looks like software QA engineer. Okay, cool. So now we have the titles. So as you can see here, we cannot only focus on one title. For example, quality assurance engineer. Aneta wrote PHP tester. Could be PHP tester. PHP tester. Then we could even have Java tester. Then we can have all these other languages. So you know what? I'll just keep tester. And yeah, if there is something before the word, then I guess that's okay. So it's a good idea. The keyword tester. Okay, now we know what are the job titles. How about we look at test automation engineer? What are some of the engineer? We will look at some of the keywords, some of the tools and skills and just phrases that these people have on their profiles, because we want to just learn what acceptance testing engineer. We want to learn what do they write about themselves, what kind of skills do they have. So we will discover some other keywords that we can use to find similar profiles. We cannot really use a keyword like leadership because that's way too broad. We cannot use training. We can use QA engineering, probably, yeah, that's quite specific. So that could be a good testing, a good keyword. System testing, functional testing. That actually comes back to what was on the right-hand side of this mind map. You see unit testing, integration testing, system testing. So this guy enumerates all these different performance testing, regression testing, integration, agile testing. So that's quite interesting. I mean, we could just copy these: smoke testing, system testing, integration testing. So this is quite specific to, but you don't forget to use the quotes, because otherwise LinkedIn would interpret it as two different standalone words. We could try also security testing. No. Close. How about load testing, performance testing, acceptance testing? Yeah, that sounds like a good word as well. And smoke testing, system testing, integration testing, unit testing, system testing I don't have. So I don't want to copy all of them, but those that sound most appealing. Okay, he has quite a lot of them. Test planning, test cases. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Testing, test cases, or test suite. This is the one. Test cases is a good one, really. That's a very good one. Sometimes you just need to see it to realize that you are missing it. Black box testing, that's a good one as well. User acceptance testing, but we already have it. So I guess, yeah, we are good with this profile. Let's go to the next one. Anna Milosevic, load testing, SQL performance testing, Android testing, Jenkins JMeter. JMeter, that sounds familiar, but I don't remember exactly what is this tool about. Load testing. That could be interesting, because testers use this tool, JMeter. So I would include it in those keywords, JMeter. That's a good one. Test automation. Do we have test automation? Oh my goodness, we don't have test automation. That's the most important keyword, isn't it? Jira, everyone in IT uses Jira. Bash, no. DevOps, everyone, no. Confluence, everyone. Ansible, it's more towards DevOps. Jenkins, both backend, full stack, and DevOps. We only can focus on those keywords that are specific to testing or QA in this case. So let's jump on another profile. Again, test cases, good. Routing, integration, software testing, quality control, probably. Network security, no. Test planning, that sounds also good. Test planning. Regression testing, test cases, Scrum, way too broad, HTML for front end, developers, SQL for backend, no. Testing. Seems like we are done with this profile as well. Let's open up 2 more, and then we are done. And then we will see how we can use these keywords to find other similar profiles. API testing. Oh, wow, this is a good one. API testing. Postman API. Oh, this is one of the tools that testers use quite a lot. I'll just keep Postman. Programming, Selenium, Java, Appium as well. Oh my, yeah. I remember this when our colleagues used it in the past. Open source test automation frameworks. So I'll also include Appium. Postman, C#, and that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next one. You see, we have such a wonderful set of keywords. Performance, oh, Bugzilla, yes, as well. Bugzilla is software for bug tracking. So also let's use that one, Bugzilla, and software testing, load testing, JavaScript, Selenium, JMeter again. So you see these keywords start appearing again. System testing, load testing, quality assurance, QA engineering. Cool, awesome. Such a good list, right? And it only took us 5-10 minutes to compile this list. And the good thing is that these are very specific to QA, test engineering. So we can go to the LinkedIn Recruiter again. And now what we will do is we will remove the keyword SQL, and we will only keep skills. Let's just go with some skills, so we can actually verify these keywords. For example, test automation. What if we only look for people who have the keyword test automation? Test automation, software quality assurance engineer, quality assurance, test automation, QA engineer. Good profiles, developer in test. Oh, by the way, one more keyword. Now when I see it, the keyword is SDET. So it stands for software development or software developer engineer in testing or in test. We can just Google it really quick. Software development engineer in test. Yeah, so I don't have to type it. Software development engineer in test, or as this developer had, developer in test. Developer in test. Awesome, awesome. Test automation engineer. So there are so many people, and where I'm actually heading with this is that there are lots of people who could be good fit for test automation engineers, but it is hard to find them with just one keyword, because you need to imagine it like some pie. You know, the pie is huge. There could be 5,000 people in Serbia, for example, at least, maybe more, maybe 10,000. But with each of these keywords, you can probably target 200 of them or 500. So you need to imagine it as a pie that you slice, and some people will have on their profiles SDET. Other people will have written API testing. Some other people will have test suite. Someone else wrote test cases or test case. Test case. Someone else writes test automation. Someone else writes QA engineering. So essentially, our job in recruiting is to imagine this pie, slice it, and then just go through them one by one, which I mean, it's not any rocket science if we just approach it systematically this way. You see 963 people, probably not all of them are really a good fit. Maybe some of them are overqualified. By default, I guess from the past search, I had seniority 4 to 10, and we are looking 3 to 5 probably. So I could change it to 3 to 5 or 6, 3 to 6, and we have 500 people for this particular keyword. QA engineer, quality assurance engineer. And then in the second step, I would try, for example, JMeter. So people who have the particular skill of JMeter. And I would remove a test automation. So there are 90 people. And I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but I'll just go back. Okay, so there are 90 people who have this skill JMeter. But if we again apply the filter, test automation, you will see there are 58 people who have the test automation keyword on their profiles, which means there are another 30 people who don't have test automation on their profile. So that's why when you imagine it as a pie that you are slicing, so you just sliced half of the people who have test automation. And then in the second batch, you go through the people who don't have test automation on their profile. So you can also exclude it by those who don't have test automation. So in the first step, for example, we would go through people who have the keyword test automation. And in the second step, we would go after people who have JMeter in their skills. So this systematically, we would go after all of these groups. Senior QA engineer, QA engineer. It's so easy, right? With good keywords, you can get to these people. It's only 32, fair enough, but this is just one of 10 or 20 keywords. So the next keyword we would use would be, for example, what was it? Postman. Postman or Postman API. $269, but now again we exclude JMeter. Not JMeter, because we went through those who have JMeter already, as if, imagine. So we don't want to go through the same people again. Oh, I need to actually do it in one Boolean. So not JMeter and Postman. With this, we are going through 260 profiles who have the keyword Postman, but not JMeter. So we don't waste time going through the same profiles as we already went a minute ago. So you see QA engineers, but also now front-end developers. So some of these keywords will be better, some of them are worse. I mean, worse in terms of who uses the keyword, who else. So there are some developers and also some test engineers who use the keyword, for example, Postman. This particular keyword is used by both QA and also by developers, say front-end or back-end developers. So it's not the best keyword. I mean, it's okayish keyword. Those who probably have the keyword test case would only be QA engineers or test automation specialists or testers, manual testers could be as well. But front-end or back-end developers would not have the keyword test case on their profile. So there are some keywords better or worse. That's the takeaway. It doesn't mean we should not use it. It's just we need to go through them, somehow disregard it. But as you can see, there is, for example, QA automation engineer, quality assurance engineer here as well. It just means that some profiles will also include backend developers, for example, or front-end developers, but quite a lot of QA engineers, quality assurance engineers, QA. So it's so easy, right? If you have good keywords, you have you don't even need to open up these profiles, and you see that they are QA engineers, potentially good fit for this kind of project, automation engineer. Yeah, this is one thing, and then we can just go after some other keywords. I'll just try before we approach someone really. I'll try this test suite. Test automation engineer and Java. QA assurance tester, quality assurance tester. Do we have this on the list? Uh, 1.5 years in Java, lecturer, freelance developer, trainee in some boot camp. So he can code, that's good, that's a plus. He did some manual testing, as you can see at first. And then he transitioned to test automation engineer. He's been doing this for 1.5 years. Maria is asking if that's gross salary. Yes, it's on a freelance contract. So around, I mean, like it could be 200, 2,100, 2,200 roughly, but I mean, around this. So it's not really a senior role. And as I mentioned, it doesn't really make sense to approach people in Germany or Austria. So even someone like him could be a good fit. He is not too far in his career, but probably he would not be senior enough now when I'm thinking about it, because he only has 2 years of experience, not even, well, 2 years. Okay, so he's too junior. What about Nicola? 1.5 experience and English language teacher. So that's not enough experience just yet. Even though he has 4 years experience, that's why he appeared on the list. We have 3 to 6, but essentially when you look at his profile and disregard this experience with teaching English, then he only has 1.5 years of experience, which is, I mean, it's okay, it's good, but we are looking for someone a bit more senior. So how about Yelena, Norbert, Bojan? QA, 1 year, 1 year, 2 years. Probably. I mean, it's 4 years in total, so that's good. Software testing, QA engineering, also manual testing, teamwork, okay-ish. Test suite, test ng. I don't even know what this is. Test ng, testing framework for Java programming language, inspired by JUnit and NUnit. Well, there are so many frameworks. Anyway, so what about Norbert? 2 years as a quality assurance mediator. He was a junior before, intern. This is nice. This is a nice profile. 6 months, 1.5 years, another 2 years. About time to change, move to some new opportunities. So from all those profiles we've seen, probably this one is the best. Also more stable. And he has been employed for the last 4 years. We have the freelance opportunity, so we could present it to him through these lenses, because he may look at all these opportunities outside, to work remotely, and he's working for this one company in Belgrade, or not Belgrade, but where is he? Subotica, in Subotica area. So I mean, probably most likely he doesn't earn $2,000. So this could be a nice step for him. So I will write him a message and we will see. So what could be the message? Actually, let's go back to the job description and let's just review it. Would you like to work on an innovative high-tech platform that is preparing for massive growth, which means its software with a robust and distributed architecture needs to be properly tested? This is a dream job if you've ever wanted to work remotely on an innovative software solution that includes the backend, front end, mobile. Well, I'll just copy and paste these two these two sentences. See, one, and also the dream job. Okay, so let's open it up as with hi Norbert. Now what? Is there something interesting about this profile? Something that we could relate to? He finished bachelor's in 2019. He has the right skills with Java. No Python, but that's not such a big deal. Native Hungarian. And is he Serbia? Yeah. Quality engineer, participate in develop and maintenance complex testing systems, passion for writing high quality maintainable code, Selenium, open for new challenges and learning new technologies. Well then, how about, hi Norbert, I've noticed you are open for new challenges and learning new technologies. I've noticed on your profile, you are open for this and this. And I'm working with an engineering team based in Germany and Dubai that is experiencing massive growth. Massive growth. That means its software which or with robust and distributed architecture needs to be properly tested, and they are transitioning from manual to automated testing. As the team is looking for someone who could help them set things up in terms of test automation engineering, which could be a nice learning opportunity, learning and growth opportunity for someone like you. How about a nice growth opportunity for someone someone keen to learn like you are? That's too much. For someone like you. This could be a dream job if you've ever wanted to work remotely. So just let me know if you'd like to discuss it. If you'd like to discuss how to transition to working remotely for this Western company. What do you guys think? Subotica is close to Hungary border. Oh, okay, so that's why he speaks Hungarian. Okay, the subject, something that will trigger some curiosity, testing challenge or test automation transition challenge. It doesn't need to make too much sense, this one sentence. It's not even a sentence, it's just a set of keywords, but it should sparkle some curiosity, like what challenge, what transition, test automation. Hi Norbert, I noticed on your profile you're open to new challenges and learning new technologies. I'm working with an engineering team based in Germany and Dubai that is experiencing massive growth. That means it's software with robust and distributed architecture. It needs to be properly tested, and they are transitioning from while they are transitioning from manual to automated testing. The team is looking for someone who could help them set things up in terms of test automation, which could be a nice learning and growth opportunity for someone like you. This could be a dream job if you've ever wanted to work remotely. So just let me know if you like. So please let me know if you like to discuss how to transition to working remotely for this Western company. Sounds good? What do you guys think? It could be better, but yeah, it's good enough, isn't it? We are not writing poems here. But the good thing is that once we have it, we can just copy and paste 80%, 90% of this message to someone else. We can just do the messaging for 2 hours. We can message 50 people if you have enough credits in mails. Like I have 117, so I could probably message 40, 50 people, and you just personalize the first sentence based on what you find on their profile. So the first message takes a few minutes. You know, it took us 5, 7, 10 minutes to write, but once you have it, then off you go, copy and paste it to others. So let me hit the send button. If you guys agree, no one has any objections? No? Okay, then. So then I'm hitting the send button right now. It's out. Okay, cool. So as you can see, no rocket science. You have all these keywords here. Let me just send them here in chat. If you guys would like to copy and paste them and use them to find good profiles. And then if you would like to submit some good profiles to our job portal, then feel free to. I will be happy to review them. Actually, yeah, it's me assigned on this project, so I'll be reviewing the candidates. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, then just let me know. If not, then we will wrap it up. Sounds good? No questions? Well then, thanks for joining, Aneta, Diana, Juliana, Julia, second time today, right? We see each other. Carrie, Chris, Maria, Zornica. I guess you've been for the first time here. Awesome. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll keep in touch.